Great. So at this point, you should have completed the mindfulness presentation as well as looked at Andy Puddicombe's TED Talk, which the link would be included in your assignment as well. For our next section of our conversation, I want to first introduce you to a website that I think is really useful to kind of tie in mindfulness to then lead to meditation. So that's kind of our lead into our next conversation. The website's called Happify, and with this website you have a chance to kind of look at 5 different areas of your own overall well-being or happiness. The first is the opportunity to savor, gratitude, what you aspire to, goals, that sort of thing, giving, and having an opportunity to share with others, and then empathizing and having that emotional connection. So Happify basically introduces you to this opportunity to change your habits and find a happier life. And those habits can be very small changes. So when you jump into the website, it actually has you fill out some information so it can kind of tailor the information to what you may be looking for. And so if, for example, you wanted more of an environmental wellness, it may encourage more community well-being and that sort of thing. So I think it's a great introduction to being mindful, paying attention to where you are in this present day, and then from there starting to take some action on those items. So now moving into meditation, I first of all want to emphasize that mindfulness and meditation are 2 different things. A lot of times we use the words interchangeably, but meditation is an actual distinct process, whereas mindfulness, I see it more as kind of an overarching perspective, and then you have different ways of being mindful within that, like mindful eating and mindful exercising, whereas meditation is its own unique process that can help you become more mindful. So what is meditation? These are some words that come to mind when we think of what the goal of meditation would be. Attentive awareness, having a seated intention to explore your inner being, the practice of being present, which again, that mindfulness word comes up, calming a turbulent mind, reducing stress. This is really about kind of tapping into who you are and finding the best process to do that for yourself. So just a couple of quotes to help us understand what that is. First, Sally Kempton said that meditation is an opening into vast creative awareness, pure light and ecstasy, an ocean of peace and power. And I think that gives a lot of the reason of why we would even want to go into meditation. We want that awareness and we want that peace and power at the same time, having both energy, courage, bravery, kind of that drive to do something, motivation, but at the same time having a calm and a sense of peace and flow as we're going through that process. So that's kind of what meditation can bring us. Deepak Chopra, who is another kind of meditation guru, said meditation is not a way of making your mind quiet. It's a way of entering into the quiet that's already there, buried under 50,000 thoughts the average person thinks every day. So this isn't finding something that's not yourself. I think this ties back to our conversations about being authentic. It's not quieting who you are. It's finding the quiet within yourself that already exists and then kind of recognizing what you want that to be. So some benefits of meditation. I'm sure we've all heard a lot of what meditation can do, but these are some pretty fantastic things that research has actually shown. So first, increased brain network plasticity, actually being able to build memories better, learning things more effectively, having more focus and attention, increased, because of those 2 previous reasons, increased intellectual and academic performance. So if someone has intellectual wellness as their focus, meditation may tie in just as much as it would for emotional wellness, for example. It helps you control your negative emotions, and I think especially with that, it helps you understand your negative emotions and kind of understand where they're coming from. It helps you have increased gratitude, compassion, and wonder. I absolutely love that word wonder. It helps us be curious. It helps us want to keep engaging in things, and it almost makes us hungry, I think, to find something for ourselves. Increased productivity and job satisfaction, stress, anxiety, and depression go down, blood pressure goes down, immune strength goes up, and then because of those things that you saw listed above, there can be a decrease in healthcare costs, which can be pretty significant when we're trying to pitch what it is we do to companies and to organizations to have them take part in this practice. So I mentioned this in class. These are just a few hand positions that are going to kind of help focus the meditative practice. It's not required, but I think it can be a way to kind of put an intention behind your meditative practice. So first is the Ganesh. You can see you just interlock your hands, and this is where you find courage. I usually recommend you holding it up to your heart. It just helps me to focus, but it really is up to you how you want to hold that position, but just clasping your hands together. Next is kind of that kind of peaceful, relaxed hand position. The goal with this is to have the right hand over the left, and this is the Dhyana Mudra. For the, I apologize, I don't know how to exactly say these, but I'm going to assume this is the Jnana Mudra. This is for unity, wisdom, and peace. You see this a lot in kind of that cross-legged yoga position. The Garuda Mudra is helping you find your life's purpose. And you can either put your hands toward yourself or out, depending on what it is you want to kind of communicate during your meditation. Hakini is for concentration. This is actually something that if you're having trouble concentrating, even when you're not meditating, people have found that this can be helpful to just kind of bring concentration to what you're doing or listening to. The Anjali Mudra is gratitude, respect, and harmony. This is the one that you see when people say namaste and bow to each other at the end of yoga, where you're kind of showing respect to each other and having kind of a collective harmony or a collective unity that you're experiencing. The Purity Mudra is the lotus. You can do it closed or open, or at some point open it up during your practice, kind of flowing from one point to the other, but this is representing purity. So now to dive into some processes of meditation. Again, there are a lot of different processes. You can do a guided meditation where you're visualizing a place that you're going to. So for example, walking through a forest or walking along the beach, or one of my very favorite things to do with people is to actually have them picture their safe place. So what would happen is they would simply picture in their mind wherever they feel safest. So for me, for example, I go to a place where I am from, where I'm outdoors. My family gathers there. We're very close when we're there. And it's actually sitting inside a teepee on just a land that we have. And just sitting inside the teepee, the fire going, and just kind of relaxed and calm, connected to nature. And that's my safe place. So from there, when I feel like I'm in this safe place, then as I go through a different meditation, I maybe feel like I'm starting from a point that feels strong to me, where I feel like I'm at my best self. So this is something that I'll have people do, just picture their safe place and then go from there. And it often will help them have a little bit more perspective and clarity when they're moving through whatever it is you're trying to guide them through. So some other options. First, there's a loving kindness meditation. This is actually one of my favorites. You can find it YouTube examples, there are text examples all over the place, but the one that I appreciate the most just starts with loving yourself, and then you go to loving someone and kind of sending your love out to maybe someone that is on your mind that you just really connect with. Next, you have it go to someone that maybe you don't connect with, someone that you might consider an enemy of some degree, and trying to share love with that person as well. And then the last stage is then just sending loving kindness to the world, where you're kind of just putting goodness out there and having yourself become part of that goodness. So this really resonates with me personally, and so I like to do this one often. Another one we've talked about before is the progressive muscle relaxation, and this is just where you contract and then release each part of your body. You can either go from the bottom moving up or the top moving down. Some people have different preferences, and I think it kind of depends on whether you make that intentional or not. So saying, okay, we're going to start at the bottom, we're going to ground ourselves, or we're going to start at the top, we're going to bring things from the world kind of in and funnel them down into ourselves. So you can see how changing the direction can kind of change the meaning of what it is you want to do with that relaxation. Another example is just a simple breathing meditation. Again, you can have people put their hand on their heart and their tummy, paying attention to whether they're filling both their chest and their stomach with air. You can have people, you make basically like a shaka symbol like you would in Hawaii to say like hang loose. You make that hand position, and then you plug your nose on one side with your thumb, breathe in, exhale out the other side, holding the other finger. So you're kind of plugging your nose to focus which side of your nose you're breathing in and out of, and that helps create a lot of focus to then let you get into an actual meditative state, where often we get distracted by things around us. So a lot of different ways to do breathing meditation. In my opinion, it's one of those things that you can use at any point in a conversation, so it's worth having kind of some key tools in your belt to help you do that. A couple of apps to help with that. First is one called Stop, Breathe, Think, and this is one where you actually log in and create a profile to actually figure out where you are for that day, and then it will give you suggested meditations. And you can also search, for example, if you were wanting more gratitude, you could search a gratitude meditation and it would have kind of a shorter option for you or a longer option, and then you can see your progress over time. So it's a great thing if someone actually has a goal around meditation to introduce them to this app. Another app, of course, is Headspace. We've talked about this in our class before. You can get 10 free days of meditation, and this is something that I recommend to people if they are very new to meditation. It helps you get your positioning right and that sort of thing. So just a couple of additional tips. These are things to help, again, with that focus. That's one of the hard things about meditation, is not knowing how to focus. And if we want zero judgment while we're doing this, we want something that's central to come back to. So if we get distracted, we know what we're coming back to. So for example, our breath. Another thing you can do is a mantra. So you just repeat these words. So as you inhale, peace. As you exhale, love. The Om symbol, which is that symbol within that sun, just repeating Om. That's something that's actually focusing you on what you're saying to help avoid distractions. And then the So Hum is actually a pretty powerful thing. You can see below that text, it says, I am that I am. The universe exists within me as much as I exist in the universe. And so this So Hum is you breathe in, so you exhale, hum. And so you're kind of guiding your breathing that way as well. Some affirmations that you can follow. Peace is in my nature. Today I am present. I am an external spark of life energy. I find deep peace and contentment within. I am awake to the beauty of life. So now I just want you to think about what your plan is. What do you want to do with this, and how do you think you can use this in your coaching? So as you start to practice this and actually guide people through meditative processes, you'll have a better understanding of what it is that meditation can do and how to do it in a way that maybe is creative or something that really resonates with you. So I just encourage you to practice it yourself, as well as practice doing it with other people, and we're eager to see where it takes you for our class. Thanks.